Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV, and welcome to another Redmond Roundup, where we're going to be talking about a little bit of a scare on Twitter today, because, of course, we've got multiple journalists who are in and around the club, and you've had reliable journalists like Simon Jones, literally last night, being quoted as in saying that we're going to get two more midfielders, or at least we're linked with two more midfielders. I don't want to misquote him. He linked us to Gravenberch. He also linked us to Decore, and that we were going to advance talks with both. Now, that's not what I'm here to talk about in this video, and I do still believe we are going to be in for one of those two players. But for those who take James Pearce with any credibility, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video, James Pearce made a claim that Endo was the CDM replacement and that we're not looking to get any more players in the midfield. So he hasn't disputed potentially getting a defender, even though I haven't seen us linked with a defender. But he has disputed the idea of us getting another midfielder and suggested McAllister, Szoboszlai and Endo are the replacements for the 7 or 8 midfielders who ended up leaving the club. So essentially saying Bajcetic is number 2 option and Endo is number 1 option. Now, I do obviously want to show you the screen, as I always do, because I don't want you just taking my way for the chat, you know what I'm saying? But yes, Empire of the Cop decided to quote tweet this. I think it's an article from James Pearce, and it just has not received a good response from Liverpool fans. They're all saying that James Pearce just chat shit, basically. Jurgen Klopp doesn't view Wataru Endo as just a stopgap signing. Or solution, sorry. Liverpool don't intend to sign another specialist in the number 6 this summer. So there's a couple of important things. One, there's this summer. And then 2, there's a number 6, and we still need a number 6. There's also something else to take into consideration, that Endo goes out on international duty in January. So is the solution there? Salah goes, so Bento replaces Salah, and then Endo goes, and then Bajcetic replaces Endo, because I believe that's what was confirmed here by my mate Liam. Shout out to Liam if he's watching this. He said, I think we will get one because Endo goes the Asian Cup in January. So I don't know if that's how true that is, but if that is true, and I don't know why Liam would lie, then yes. That's even more reason why we need to go out there and actually get a player who's required. But yeah, I saw Hussam tweet on it as well. Oh, shout out to Hussam, man. Go follow him on Twitter. He has a better Twitter than me. James Pearce is not a serious source in 2023. But if this turns out to be true, then we're absolutely done out here. So yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Hussam. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't put it past the club to make this type of decision. I also wouldn't even put it past Jurgen Klopp. It's why I don't want him to make the decisions, which is why if he's making the decisions, then I don't know why FSG are fixing what was not broken. The whole time when we had an experienced, capable board of director, we were getting the players that Klopp needed. Instead of getting Brandt, we got Salah, and it was working perfectly. But if this is true about Klopp getting more say, and Klopp is the one who's making this decision, well, that's a problem that the ownership need to sort out, because they shouldn't be giving them that authority. The same way I shouldn't give a 5-year-old keys in a car, because if they go and crash the car, okay, technically it's the 5-year-old's fault for crashing the car, but they were never capable of driving it in the first place. So what was my stupid ass doing giving them that freedom? The same way, if you're going to give a football coach the freedom to be a scout and make football and ins and out decisions, which I actually don't believe Jurgen Klopp does have. And I certainly don't think Jurgen Klopp sat here and said, okay, I'm going to sell James Milner, I'm going to sell Jordan Henderson, and I'm going to sell Fabinho, and I'm going to replace all 3 with Endo Wataru. I highly disbelieve that's the case. But let's say even what James Pearce is saying is correct, and we don't get another midfielder for the entirety of the window. Is that an FSG thing, a Klopp thing? That's not what I'm talking about. That's a problem in general. It doesn't matter who you're trying to blame. That's not good. But do you take it with credibility? I'll be honest, I'd be gobsmacked if we never tried. And that's what disproves this tweet. If Liverpool end up confirming that we tried, then that disproves the James Pearce tweet of, you know, we're not going to go out and get another midfielder. Also, if James Pearce has got this source from an inside source at the club, which is how he gets some of his information, I assume, then that means as well, could this be a PR stunt? As we know, we can't differentiate what's a PR stunt and what isn't, but we know that they're there. And if they're there, is this one of them? Possibly, because it makes the fans think, okay, we're getting business done, or we're at least trying. Fans love, A for effort. So that's why they're going to be on board with that. Shout out to Callum. He says, I think James Pearce's quote about not getting another DM is a transfer tactic. I hope anyway. I'd be intrigued to know some of the responses to that, actually, because I think a transfer tactic is definitely far-fetched. Fingers crossed, Cal, negligent. If we ignore the two glaring issues, we still have a seat. I like the 4D chess thinking. Someone tonight, you well, son. I'm not going to lie. I don't think this is 4D chess thinking. I think this is stupidity from the club. I think this is the type of stupidity that missed out on Lavia and Caicedo. And I certainly don't think we thought, okay, we're going to miss out on two of the top prospects in the Premier League. The solution to this, Enzo Wataru. I think Enzo definitely was supposed to be, even from Jurgen Klopp's mouth, that James Milner like for like. Maybe not the direct replacement, but for the like for like, someone who brought the legs, brought the energy, brought the leadership. I think that's what Klopp is looking at Enzo like, because of course, he's got his own leadership qualities and whatever have you. In other news, we've also got James Pearce reporting the fact that we are appealing the red cards against Bournemouth, which is great news, of course, because through these lack of midfielders, we're certainly going to need as many of them as possible. So I was actually going to address that news in this video too. So before I fully get into that one, because that one's also a monstrosity of the highest order, let me know what you think about the news that James Pearce reported regarding this situation around the midfielders. I'm one of those in the camp where we need midfielders, we need them quick. I want us to go and get to Corey. If we don't get to Corey, then go and get someone that you want. I'm not the one making the decisions. And I would certainly be open to the idea that if James was the one making the decisions, that might not be best. And if you think Decore isn't good, well, then you know more, but go and get someone who is good enough, because I think we all know that it would be very over-ambitious to just give Enzo that position straight away. And then we also know it's very over-ambitious and lack of preparation if we wait until January for Andre to fill in that role, or a new CDM in January. So we are still linked with Gravenberch and Decore. And that's according to Simon Jones. So now we've got to ask the question, okay, well, was the tweets 12 hours ago from Simon Jones more credible than the tweets from 3 hours ago of James Pearce? And if you say yes, well, then now we can go forward and know a little bit more whether or not we're going to get these midfielders. That's what remains to be seen. But when you consider that Thiago's injury prone, 7 midfielders have left the club, McAllister could potentially be out for over a month due to this suspension. If the appeal isn't successful, well, now I think that changes the dynamics of things. I think whether it's Klopp making the decisions, FSG, I've done that video earlier. I'm not going to get into that right now. Whoever it is, they're doing a lot of fuck-ups, and that needs to be sorted from the tippity top. That really, really does. It needs to trickle down into more success for the football club, and we do need to get more successful acquisitions over the line, because these are the same. James Pearce is one of the same journalists saying, we can expect a couple more players throughout the transfer window. And now this contradicts those previous tweets, which means the club might not even know what they're doing if the inside source from the club that James Pearce has is the one feeding them this information. But yeah, as I said there, we have got a situation with McAllister. McAllister is currently supposed to be suspended for over a month. He only misses 3 games, but throughout that period, you're missing out on Newcastle, Aston Villa, and there's another team that's slipping my mind. But he will be back for the 24th of September, and we're currently on the 21st of August, which is why I always word it over a month of football. And that's bad. It's just 3 games, yes, but it's also more momentum taken out of the team. You're not keeping up with the pace and the intensity and learning the style of play, because you can only do so much in training when it comes to that stuff. He needs to be playing games of football. So I do hope that the FA take this into serious consideration and start to think about actually making some proper decisions regarding the red card that's being given here, because it weren't even considered by VAR, which was the number one problem for me. And I do hope that it gets considered. I do hope it gets overturned, not for the benefit of us, but for the benefit of the Premier League. I think if that's the precedence of red cards, then we're going to be seeing a lot of those this season. But as we saw on this weekend, there was a lot of inconsistencies of similar challenges not being given even a foul, let alone a yellow card, let alone a red card. So let's hope that gets sorted, chap. But let me know what you think about what I've talked about in this video. There is also going to be a live stream at 5:30 p.m. UK time. It's going to be earlier because of the Tottenham game, and then that should be me done for the content for the day. I might do a match reaction with the Arsenal game being on later, and I am trying to do more diverse content around the games. So I like doing match reactions to other teams, so let me know if that's what you want to see. But anyway, smash a like, subscribe, continue the great support that you've been showing. And guys, see you all in a bizzle. Sayonara.